Hi, I'm Lori Searle with Yoga and Fitness to Go, and this is Yoga with Weights. And I know you're thinking, yoga with weights, what a strange combination, like oil and water. But here's the deal. In your yoga practice, you're using your own body weight for resistance to build strength and power within. But it's important that we integrate other forms of resistance using weights so that we can increase our metabolism, reduce injury, strengthen our bones, and increase our flexibility. So really, it's kind of like the best of both worlds, using yoga and strength training, kind of like peanut butter and chocolate, perfect together. So I'm here with my friend Michelle, and we're going to start off our practice just like we would with any strength program or yoga routine by warming up the body. And we'll start with good old regular sun salutations. So I'm going to give Michelle her mat. She's going to start at the top of her mat with her feet together. You can also start if you're a beginner with the feet hip distance apart. And on a big breath in, you're going to take your arms all the way up and over the head. And as you exhale, hinging at the hips, you're just going to fold forward. So the beginner level, inhale, looking up, lengthening the spine. You can soften at the knees, bend the knees, you're going to walk back into an upper push-up position. And then from here, slowly lowering down the knees and then the heart to the floor. So if you're level 1, this is how you're going to roll, right? Then gently lowering the tops of the feet and the belly to the floor. We'll inhale and rise up into cobra pose, just relaxing the shoulders down the back. Good, and on an exhale, full length of the breath, curling the toes under and pressing all the way back down, facing dog. So if you don't have the flexibility as Michelle does, so she's very strong, very flexible, you might want to soften at the knees here to just sort of give some room for your hamstrings and the low back if you happen to have tension there. If you're really beginning with yoga and you're not going to come down to the mat, you can always use a chair to do your downward facing dog. Good, you're going to spend a few breaths here. And then when you're ready, slowly start to walk the feet forward towards the hands, coming back into our forward fold. And again, if you need to, softening the knees. We'll take an inhale, looking up and lengthening the spine, and then exhale, folding in. Now we're going to show you a little bit more of an advanced version. Inhale, rising all the way up to stand. Exhale, returning the palms together at heart center. Let's take an inhale, lift the arms all the way up. This is a full body warm-up. Exhale, hinging at the hips. Using your arms, using your head, neck, shoulders. Inhale, look up and lengthen the spine. Obviously the core and the legs. As you exhale, bend the knees, plant the palms, and you can step back to plank or you can hop back into chaturanga. Right? Good. Beautiful. She's going to lower down only to hover off of the floor. And then she's going to inhale and lift to upward facing dog. Just like cobra, except the legs are lifting. Gorgeous. Shoulders are back, the heart moves forward, and then press back down facing dog. I'm going to hold Michelle here for about 5 breaths. You're going to want to stay there 5 to 10 breaths, just to get into the body, get into the breath. Now, this sun salutation, or vinyasa, which is linking the breath with the movement, I would say if you're going to do the whole fitness routine strength with weights, I would say do it anywhere between 5 and 10 times if you've got the time to do it. Also, as we progress during the routine, just to build up a little bit of cardio, which is also really important to strengthen the heart. It's great to integrate into your fitness routine, great to integrate and balance with your yoga practice. You can do a vinyasa or a sun salut in between each set that we do with strength. So as Michelle's ready, she's going to gently lower her knees down to the floor. We're going to start with our first set of strength. And she's just going to take a couple cat-cows here just to release the spine a little bit here. Inhaling, looking up, and exhaling, rounding, drawing the belly towards the spine. And then when she's ready, she's just going to grab hold of her weights. Now, here's the deal. You can have the weight either, we have a few here. We have the ankle weights, we have wrist weights, we have regular hand weights, and we have weighted balls. You can also use water bottles. Just make sure that they're filled up all the way. Or you can use your infant child. No, just kidding. Probably not a good idea. But any small weight, anywhere between 1 and 3 pounds. As you get stronger, you can maybe even increase to 5 pounds. So Michelle's going to use her 3-pound hand weight, and she's going to start working her rotator cuff and tricep. And as she's ready, she's just going to softly take her arm and reach all the way forward towards the front of the room. And then as she exhales, she's just going to bring it all the way back. Palm's going to flip up, and she's going to reach towards her sacrum. Inhale, she's going to reach forward and almost take take the weight towards the top of her head. Yeah, and she's going to take it all the way back. Now here's the deal with repetitions. Anywhere between 8 to 12 each side. As you get stronger, you can add your sets. So you can do one set of 8 to 12, do a vinyasa in between, do another set, and then maybe 3 sets if you feel comfortable. And then increase the weights as you get stronger. So this routine will never get old, it will never get boring because you'll always be changing it up with the amount of sets or the amount of weights. So for the purposes of this video, we're going to do about 8 to 12. And she's obviously working her shoulder. She's working her assisting muscle here, which is the tricep. And then we can slowly release. We're only going to do one side. We'll even Michelle out later. And then from here, you can gently press all the way back. You can release the weight, press all the way back to downward facing dog. Or you can move on right into the next side. But we're going to go into another exercise altogether. Take a deep breath. And then as she exhales, she's going to come forward into plank pose and lower all the way down to the floor, either using knees or heart or plank to chaturanga. Good. And from here, she's going to grab her weights. I'm going to grab those weights for her. And she's going to work on her lats or her back here. Move these out of your way. Weighted balls are also really good. And from here, you're going to start like a cactus arm on the floor. Palms are down towards the floor. And all she's going to do, and this is where you might want to think about bringing the weight down a little bit, maybe 1 pound. So you're going to slowly start to inhale, lift head, neck, shoulders, and weights, and you're going to draw the elbows together, or as close together as you can, and then slowly lower down towards the floor. Inhale, slowly rise up, and really pinch the shoulder blades together. Beautiful. I see your back working, and then gently lower down. Good. You can slowly lift again. Good. See if you can draw the shoulder blades a little closer. Draw those elbows towards one another, and then lower down. As you advance, taking it up a notch, keep going, Michelle. Maybe lifting 1 foot off of the floor and lowering. So you can switch by lifting 1 foot, lowering as you exhale. Inhale, lift the opposite foot. This is your locust pose, right? And then you can switch it up a notch, taking it even more advanced, lifting both of the feet off of the floor as you draw your elbows or shoulder blades together. Good. And being careful, and Michelle's doing a great job of this, not to round the shoulders forward. So the shoulders come all the way back, what we like to call retracted and depressed, even though depressed is sort of a negative word. So now we're going to turn it into the triceps. So Michelle's going to lengthen her arms alongside her body now, palms face up. Again, if you have any tightness in the shoulders, you might want to soften the elbows here. And from here, she's going to do the same motion, except lifting the arms straight back and maybe even pulsing the weights together. Inhale, lifting the head and shoulder, beautiful. Good. So you can try a couple just lifting and lowering, right? And then as you advance, you can lift and draw the weight together. So this is obviously working the tricep. Your shoulder is also assisting here. And clearly your core, right, Michelle? You feel your core working now that you've done like 500 of them. And still, the same thing here. So you can use your feet, you can lift your feet, one at a time or both at a time. And then we're going to give Michelle a little bit of a break here. Release the weights off to the side. And then we're just going to press back into child's pose and just release the back. Take a few deep breaths there. Making sure that you keep breathing as deeply as you can, just like you would in your regular yoga practice. And then from here, we're going to add on to the shoulders. So we're going to start in a thunderbolt pose. So we're going to sit back on our heels. Come back to child's pose in a little bit. And from here, sitting back on our heels, we're just going to take the weights at shoulder level. And as we inhale, we're going to extend and lengthen the arms straight up towards the sky. Good. And of course, I don't even have to tell Michelle. Her form is perfect here with a nice long lean body in the front and the back. So she's drawing her belly in towards her spine, nice and flat in the back, nice and flat in the front, right? So we don't want to overarch or over round. Good. And then as you advance, we're going to show the next motion. You can inhale and lift the bum right off of the heels. So you're also getting a nice workout in your hero's pose. And gently release. for your quadriceps. Good, next breath sounds really good. You feel it in your shoulders too, right?
Yeah.
That's very good. So anywhere between 8 and 12, and obviously we can take a vinyasa in between. We can take a few breaths in either downward facing dog or child's pose, just giving ourselves the ability to feel how we feel. So I would even recommend maybe watching this video first, just to kind of see which level you feel today, right? Every level can be different, right? Every day, I'm like, maybe I'm a beginner, maybe I'm advanced, right? So we're gonna rest back in child's pose, we'll move back into the triceps. So I'm gonna line the weights, getting ready for triceps. And right here in her child's pose, she can rest her lower body, she's gonna hold on to her weights, and she's just gonna pulse up with the arms. Inhaling, lifting, and exhaling, lowering. Now the tendency here is for the shoulders to round a little bit. If you feel like that's happening, you can turn the palms inwards. That's going to instantly take the shoulders and turn them up. So you can do the same thing with the triceps. Do you feel the difference?
Yes.
Okay. And then as you advance, maybe even taking the palms to face downwards. A little bit harder of a motion. It's a smaller motion, but you're still getting the triceps to work there. Anywhere between 8 and 12. Does that feel okay?
Yeah.
Awesome. Beautiful. When she's ready, she's going to release the weights, come back into downward facing dog, and it's up to you, Michelle. You can do a vinyasa if you want, otherwise you can rest if you're downward facing. Always options, guys. You listen to the one that works best for you. Beautiful. From here, we're going to stretch. As we inhale, we're going to stretch that right leg into the air. And then exhale, you're just going to sweep it, or if you need to, grab forward towards that right thigh. Now, Michelle, let's just do left knee to the floor for this first one. You're going to grab a hold of those weights. Slowly lift the torso up. Good. And from here, we're going to work on our chest. So our elbows are going to come back a little bit. Palms are going to be reaching forward. And for this set on this side, she's going to focus on pushing forward, right? So pushing forward. So, I'm sorry, we're actually working the back and drawing the shoulder blades together. So just like we did in our locust pose on the belly, right? So focusing on the back, she's focusing on pulling. Imagine she's pulling, what would you be pulling? A big car, big rig. Pulling it towards her, or maybe a big wad of cash, or a big plate of brownies. Good. Anywhere between 8, 12, 15, if you're 1, 3, 5 pound weight, you're going to slowly begin to release the weights down towards the floor. You can take your vinyasa, or downward facing dog, right? I'm just going to keep being like a broken record, giving you the option. The more vinyasas you add, the higher your heart rate's going to go up. Obviously, the stronger you're going to get. We're going to inhale and take that left leg into the air. And just for purposes of advancing in this video, you're going to sweep it or grab that left foot forward towards the left thumb. We're going to keep that back knee lifting, so that's going to be a little bit more advanced. You're going to grab a hold of those weights. Slowly lift the torso. Same motion. So the elbows align with the shoulders, and this time she's going to focus on pushing. So that's going to be working the pecs, the chest a little bit more. Just psychologically wrapping your mind around the action, which is this similar movement, but all you're doing is focusing on the push. The push, and then the pull, right? Working your back muscles and your chest muscles. So every time you're doing any sort of strengthening, you're always working in tandem, or in yoga, in union. You're always having muscles that are working and strengthening, and always having muscles that are helping you out. Good, you're probably done on that side, so you're just going to release down towards the floor. You can take a vinyasa or take a break in down dog or child's pose. Good breath. I don't know if you can hear that breath, but it sounds divine. You want to keep breathing, smooth, deep breathing. You don't want to get overworked. You're not in a gym, so you're not going to be pushing the breath too much. Okay, so for purposes on this side, we're just going to take that left leg again, inhale and extend. And then exhale, drawing that left foot forward towards the left thumb. We'll drop the back heel to the floor, coming into our warrior pose. Good, and I'll grab those weights for you. We're going to work with the shoulders here. This is what I like to call lemonade for twins. So hopefully you can see. If not, I'm going to show you with the balls. So we're going to start with the palms inwards alongside the waist. And as we're ready, we're going to take the inhale and lift the arms up so that they're in line with the shoulders and gently lower. You feel that right in your shoulders. This is just going to get you those nice toned arms. Right? And as you advance, right, you can lift and extend, right? A little bit harder. But again, we want to give you some things to work with and play with so that this video never gets old, right? Only what I say is going to get really old really fast. So you just put me on YouTube, okay? Good. So from here, you'll gently release when you're ready. Weights down to the floor. She's so graceful watching her. It's awesome. You can take your vinyasa or downward facing dog. Got led by the walls today. Good, we're going to do the left side again. So you're going to want to take your time and switch sides, right? But we're going to move on to the next exercise. Inhale, taking that left leg into the air. Exhale, sweeping it forward. Dropping the back heel to the floor. Grab those weights. We're going to inhale, come into your warrior one. Good, you can take this one, and then you're going to open up the arms in line with the legs and come into warrior two. You're going to work on your biceps now. So in your warrior two, great form. Relax your arms for just a sec here. You're going to want to make sure that your knee's right over that ankle. Sink as deeply as you can. So you're still working the lower body. Good. Now we're going to extend the arms out to the side. Palms flip up. Good. And we're going to bicep curl here. So softly curl in. Look at those strong muscles. Now, if you're really nursing a shoulder injury or arms are just on the weaker side, you can keep those elbows in. That's totally fine. This is a little bit more intermediate advanced. If you're working with lower weights, this should be okay for you. Again, anywhere between 8, 12, 15 repetitions as you progress. Looking good. And you want to make sure that the shoulders are nice and relaxed, which Michelle is showing us. Gorgeous. We're going to gently release as we're ready. So you come back into one, gently release, come into a vinyasa if you'd like, or downward facing dog. I'm just going to give her a little bit of a break here. Her left side is going to be so full by the end of this. Don't worry, we're going to do the right side for her when the camera shut off. So left side again, let's take a big breath and send the left leg into the air. You're feeling strong though, huh? Good. Slowly sweep it forward, drop that back heel to the floor. Big breath in, you're going to come all the way up into one. All the way out, come into two. Good, we're going to straighten up that left leg and come into triangle pose, Trikonasana. And you can reach forward, and from here, you can use that left weight as a little block, so you can kind of stack it so that it's tall. And rest your hand on it, and then she's got the flexibility to reach towards the floor, and that's cool. Okay, nice and long in your front leg, so keep it as straight as possible, even if you need to bring that back leg in. She's going to inhale, and then as she exhales, she's going to reach down towards the floor. Again, working the lats and the shoulder here. Inhale and lift, and exhale and lower. Good, and you want your breath to match the movement. You want to still get your yoga in with your strength training, right? We live in America, so we've got to get our multitasking done, right? This is a good way to do it. Same sort of action, right? Working with similar muscles. We're going to come into Trikonasana. So we're going to bend that left knee now. Maybe take the weight on the inside of the foot. Good. And again, you can stack the weight so that it's tall. And from here, we remember to do that bending the elbow, right? The lawnmower is what we like to call it. Right? So you're working tricep now, and you've got the back muscles. Looking good, sister. So this strength, anytime you're doing yoga, you are strengthening the entire body. We're adding weights to add just a different way of working the muscles, and you'll feel it immediately. The muscles need to be challenged in different ways in order to see results and feel results. Feeling that strength and that balance within the body, right? So sometimes we need tools, right? Maybe even a lawnmower. I'm just going to have her keep doing this for like the next hour. Okay, you can go ahead and go with that. Take a little break if you need to. Child's pose or downward facing dog. Beautiful job. Good, then from then just start to walk your feet forward towards your hands. Just come into a little toe stand so you can lift the heels nice and high and just just come into a little bit of a squat. We're going to come all the way down to the floor. So as gracefully as you can, you'll come down to the floor, just sit your bum on the floor. Make sure those weights are near you. Okay, so this is one of those ones we'll probably show to several different versions. So we're going to come into blow pose or navasana. So Michelle's going to lean back, go ahead and grab onto your weights, and just lean back enough to still feel long and lean in the front back body. No over-rounding or arching. And take those weights, we're going to go back to biceps here. You're going to do like a mini curl, palms face forward. Palms face inwards, yeah. And then we're going to take it out towards the side, right? And lean back a little bit more. Good. Draw it in as you exhale. Good. Just looking good. Now, as you advance, you can lift one leg, do several rotations, also working from the shoulder. And then you can switch sides. Take a vinyasa in between if that feels good. And then as you really, really progress and you're increasing the weights or the repetitions, lengthen both of those legs. I can't even do that. I usually have a bad leg, hip flexors. Really, really nice. Thanks, Michelle. 20 more. Can you do it? Maybe just one more. Because she's so beautiful. Okay, you're going to slowly lower all the way down to the floor. We're going to stretch out the abdomen a little bit by coming into bridge pose. So I'm going to put your weights just a little bit closer to you. Walk your feet back so that you can at least tickle the back of your heel with your longest finger. And let's just take one bridge pose to stretch out the belly. As you inhale, just lift up the pelvis. This is going to be your bridge pose. So you're pressing into your big toes. Thighs are pressing forward. Heart is pressing back. Now we're going to add the weights. So gently lower down towards the floor. Go ahead and grab onto your weights. This is going to be your overhead extension. So inhale, extend the arms up and over the head. And as you exhale, lower the weights and lift the hips. Gorgeous. She makes it look easy. And that breath sounds great. As you progress, you can lift one leg, maybe extend it forward or up. See how that feels. Beautiful. And again, these are just options for you. Good, we'll see even you out on the other side. And you can do this 1, 2, 3 times a week. You can do half of it. You can just do a couple of the exercises. From here, we're going to do the chest press with the legs lifted. So this is going to work the core. Take the legs up. This is also going to relieve some tension in the lower body. So this is always a good pose to come into, either against the wall, just relaxing in yoga, but also great to do in our strength training routine. So from here, the elbows are going to go in line with the shoulders. Hopefully you can see it. She's going to take a big inhale, and as she exhales, she's going to reach up towards her toes with the weight. So she's getting a nice little C curve in the spine, a little crunch. Inhale and exhale. Beautiful. As she advances, each time she lifts up, she can do a little pelvic tilt, so lift those hips. Gorgeous. Can you see it? It's a very subtle lift. Gorgeous. And then still advancing, maybe taking one leg forward. That's hard, huh? Mm-hmm. Or both legs forward. Maybe just one. Good job. Now we're going to have her relax. Now I would say, if you have the time, to take a few minutes to at least take a shavasana and rest. Otherwise, we're going to come on up to a seated pose. Yeah, that was her goal. That's the New York version of shavasana. It's taking a tiny 1 second shavasana. So from here, you want to make sure that you stretch your triceps. You can stay seated, because you want to make sure you stretch the triceps. So take the palms, the right palm back behind your left palm to the right elbow. Just give yourself a stretch. Take a few deep breaths and switch sides. Good job, Michelle. You want to take the palms back behind you, interlace the fingers and stretch. This is going to stretch the chest. And then you can switch sides. Either give yourself a hug, right? Stretching the space between the shoulder blades. Or in your yoga, you can take your Little arms, right under left, left under right. Oh, feels so good. I didn't even do that. And for the biceps, you just want to take your palms, rotate them so that they're facing back behind you, and just press back. Good stretch for the biceps. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, Michelle, for being my demo girl. She did a great job. Please tune in for other episodes of Yoga and Fitness to Go, and make sure that you leave to yourself, drink tons of water, and wear your sunscreen. Namaste.